The fiscal cliff is important for many reasons. Probably the primary one, or the one that I think that most people are concerned about, is it'll have a tremendous impact on the American economy because it both will increase tax rates and it will cut spending. That's a double whack on the economy. It's kind of the opposite of Keynesian economics. And most people, including the Congressional Budget Office, say that that will produce a recession. An even more profound problem is that we should never have gotten here. This is due to irresponsibility by the Congress and by the President of the United States. They have not done their work. They have not matched spending and income, even close. $4 trillion deficits each of the last 4 years, and now we see the result of it. Because really, a very famous phrase now in Washington is kick the can down the road. And that's exactly what they've been doing year after year after year. Rather than face the problems and deal with them, either by cutting taxes or raising revenues, they have kicked the can down the road. And meanwhile, as they're busy kicking the can, the bills are building up for our children and grandchildren. So there are many reasons why it's important. It's a very, very important thing, and it's disgusting that we're in this situation. Congress can do what it did before. It's got a lame duck session coming up after the election officially supposed to begin on the 13th of November. Will last maybe a week. They could make it last as long as they want to. They could go until Christmas Eve if they want to. Or they could even come back after that if they're really making progress. But I don't think they will. I don't think they'll make any serious progress. And so either they will kick the can down the road by extending everything and just giving themselves another 6 months. That's roughly what's been happening in the past. Or maybe they'll cut a partial deal. There's a lot of discussion, interesting discussion, rational discussion about things that they could do that would both extricate us from this big whomp on January 1st and lay a pattern, lay the groundwork for a bigger deal subsequently. And there are a lot of people on the Hill and in the administration working very hard on that, but there have been in the past. So I would say there's a little room for optimism on a 10-point scale. I'm going to put it at 2. And 8 points that we're just going to punt again, kick the can down the road, and not do anything serious. And so that means that they'll more or less cancel the deadline because they'll just blow right through it by extending everything for, say, 6 months or 9 months or whatever. Whether the American public is sufficiently attuned to the cliff and the larger issues that are involved in the cliff, I would say is questionable. And the reason I would say that is that these are pretty technical issues. There are a whole bunch of, there are at least 6 big parts of the fiscal cliff. And I don't think most Americans understand exactly what's going on. But what they do understand is that we have a big deficit. And we have a deficit year after year after year. And I would say that there are 2 types of polls that reveal this. One is that since over the last 15 years or so, Americans' concern about the deficit goes up and up and up. It's at a very high level right now. So Americans are aware there's a deficit. And the second type of poll, I think, that is quite revealing is that Americans, although they want to do something about the deficit, they don't want to cut military spending. They don't want to cut spending on Social Security and Medicare, which are really at the heart of the problem, especially Medicare. And they don't want to increase taxes. Other than that, they're perfectly willing to have a solution. So they're telling Washington, which, what the elected officials already know, and this is why they're such wimps, because they know that the public doesn't really want, they want some action, but they don't really want to make the sacrifices that are necessary to get us there. Listen, I love to read all these articles about, if you do this, it's going to hurt this group of people. If you do this, everybody is going to be hurt. There's no other way. People are going to have to sacrifice. We're spending too much. We're spending way beyond our budget. We already have fairly high tax rates, and they'll probably have to go somewhat higher. That'll hurt a lot of people. And then there's going to have to be major cuts in spending, and that will hurt a lot of people. There's no other way. And politicians hate that. They do not want to do that because their opponent in the next election will say, look how he hurt you. And it'll be hard for the members to say, I did it, yes, but it was crucial because I'm saving your children and grandchildren.